session. I'm Carol Crewe. I'm coming in as District Secretary for the 2021 year. And once I reach the 1st of July, I believe I take over the Secretary at rotary9820.org.au email from the lovely Jane, who's done an amazing job as District Secretary this year. And that's my mobile number as well there. So congratulations on taking on the role of Club Secretary. As I was just saying, I think it's probably one of the most important roles in the club. It's a very big job and can be time consuming, but it does make a huge difference to the success of your club for the year. Tim sent round emails, I believe, with the prerequisite learning sessions that were done through the Rotary Learning Centre, which the website is listed there, and they were the Club Secretary Basics and the Club Administrative Committee Basics. So hopefully everyone has logged on to the Rotary Learning Centre and done those 2 sessions. If not, I would highly recommend you do them. I did them last weekend just so I could see what they were like. Unfortunately, they didn't have that system when I was Club Secretary, but I found them very valuable, very easy to navigate through, and some good information in there. So if you haven't done them yet, please do log on in the next week or so and try and get them done. Just wanted to go through a few slides. I hope everyone is familiar with the district website. So the top picture there is the banner across the top of the district website. It's district9820.org. If you haven't got onto that as District Secretary, I suggest you make a start and become very familiar with it, because it is updated regularly by the district team, and it is a fantastic resource for all members, but for executives in particular. So on the homepage, you'll find stories and information about activities and events that are being done by members at clubs and districts. There's information on the Rotary programs, so if you are not sure what's involved in each program, that's a great resource. You will find the calendar of events, which I have started to input data into. I recommend that you have a look at that regularly and watch out for changes, because as we're finding in this new COVID-19 world, we're having to sometimes adapt at the last minute. And if you have any events that you want to go into the district calendar, please email them to me and I can add them in. You'll also find policies and forms that are approved by district. So we just last week, the current board approved a new email policy. There's the youth protection policies and all sort of things. So it's a great resource for you. When you log into the member area, which is done at the very top next to your name, you have access to a lot of things that you won't have seen before, but when you're Club Secretary, you'll be able to go to the second tab along the top, which says For Clubs, and then under that will come up a new menu. And it's really important that you make sure that those details are up to date. I know Jane sent out so many emails trying to get them all up to date, but I still don't think we've quite managed to get there. So your member lists are the people who are in your Rotary Club, both active and honorary. It's really important that that is up to date, because that is where Rotary takes the information from the members of your club to do your invoice. So you pay for people that are listed there. Now, if someone died 3 years ago and you forgot to take them off, you're still paying for them. So please go in and actually make sure that the member list is up to date. The second tab is Define Club Executives. And if you fill in the club executives, you will make your life a lot easier for the rest of the year. So when we send out emails through Club Runner, and we say we've sent it to the club president, the club secretary, and for example, the youth chairman, if the youth chairman's not listed in your club executives, then they're not getting the email, which means you have to forward it on and follow up. Whereas if you have entered all your executives in that tab, you know they're getting the emails straight away. So it's good to check that everyone's emails are up to date as well. And the club information, it's important to make sure that's up to date. So if you've changed your meeting times, you're now meeting through Zoom, or you're only meeting fortnightly for a while, you can update that there so that anyone looking for information on your club gets the most up-to-date information. The other thing you will find in the member area that I use nearly every day is the search e-directory. So if you search the member e-directory, you can bring up and enter the club if you know it, the person's first name or their second name. So if someone says, oh, I'm trying to contact Joe, I think he's in the Rotary Club of Mornington, you can put Mornington and Joe and it'll bring up all the Joes in Mornington, and you will get all the details that he has entered against his profile. So that replaces the old little spiral bound district directories that used to come out for clubs and members and things, and it's much more up to date and much more valuable. We were just talking about My Rotary in the general session. So if anyone was in that, they've already had a little bit of information on My Rotary. So again, that's the tab of what My Rotary looks like when you log in there. They said that only 40% of members in District 9820 have created a login. So that means we've still got 60% of our members who haven't done this. But as secretary, you will need to do it. It's really valuable, and you can find your own individual profile and make sure that you have that up to date. You can put a picture in and lots of information. You can see your donor history if you've made any personal contributions to the Rotary Foundation, and that can be good to check. As well as that's a great resource for information about Rotary International, for clubs, for Rotarians, and there's a fair bit of club administration information in there as well. And there is, I believe, you'll find the link to Rotary Club Central there as well. So you can go through that to make sure that your club has its goals and up to date, and then achievements entered. And then Rotary.org is focused much more on the front page on generic information for people. So that's a great spot to send people if they want to learn about Rotary International, but you can also access Rotary Club Central through that website as well. So if you haven't gone onto those websites and had a look, I recommend as an incoming club secretary that you make yourself familiar with those, because it will help. For example, I'm pretty sure it's My Rotary, you find where to pay the invoices. So secretaries treasurers can log in there and do that. So a lot of stuff gets done on these two websites now. If you've done the Rotary Basics session through the My Learning Centre, you'll see the job description there will look familiar, because I've taken that out of the Rotary Learning Centre course. It's a good place to start for what you're going to be doing in your role. All clubs are different, so I can't tell you exactly what you'll be doing, how your club will work, but the responsibilities that are due there, it's a good thing to check which ones of those you'll need to do in your club. Very importantly, talk to your current club secretary about the role and what duties that they have. It's always good to ask them, what do they know now that they wish they'd known at the first week, and get those sort of helpful hints off them, because they'll be a great resource to you as well. Also talk to your club president and other directors about what they might want to do, if it's going to create any extra jobs for you over the year, so that you've got a heads up on what's going to happen. As secretary of the club, you also become the secretary for Consumer Affairs Victoria. So you'll need to make that change, and then you'll be doing the Consumer Affairs Victoria report that's required there. And a couple of other things I recommend you do. I just had someone the other day show me a lovely certificate they've just done this week. Unfortunately, it has the old logos on it that we haven't used for about 6 or 7 years. So can I suggest that as secretary, you make sure that the logos and annual themes are up to date on all the resources you use. And there's lots of resources available. I'm available to help if needed, and there is a massive amount of work being done through district, through the IT field, through the public imaging, through the chairs, and they are all available to help if you need it. So just do please ask for help if you've got a question. Don't muddle through and wait till the end of the year and then find something could have been fixed for. Am I unmuted now? Yeah, I'm unmuted now. From my point of view, things that I would like you to do. So I've already touched on some of them. Please make sure that all your member details are up to date. Now, this should hopefully be done by the current secretary, because on the 30th of June, the invoice data will be being taken. So it's good to make sure that's up to date. And it's not a bad thing if you can get all your members to check their own personal details as well, because trying to track down all the presidents and secretaries this year, I've found emails that are no longer being answered and home phones where they had their home phone disconnected 3 years ago. So get people to double check their own data as well. If you know all the club executives for this year, please get them entered. And as soon as you know the roles for next year, get them in early. That will mean we'll not be harassing you about doing it this time next year when you're wanting to wind up things. Consider an executive secretary. Now, this can be a role that you can set up in your club. If you're not familiar with the district website and you've got someone who is and who is passionate about it and who has time to commit, you can actually appoint someone an executive secretary. Now that means that can be their job just to update things in Club Runner, and they can get access to everything that you have access to. So they can go through and take people on and put them off and update details and do all that sort of stuff. So it's a way of delegating a small portion of your role if you don't feel you're able to do it and someone else is. Just one option. We do that in my club. Incoming emails. I always say you can lead a Rotarian to an email, but you can't make them read it. So please just read emails as they come in. I'll be continuing the theme we've had the last couple of years where I'll try and put at the top the note of who it's been sent to. So check that. So if it says it's been sent to all the members in your club, please don't forward it on. We don't want to have a ton of double ups. And I'm also trialing, and I don't know whether it'll work, but we'll try it. If there's a specific response required from the email, I'm actually trying to state that as well. So it could be it's being sent to the youth protection officers and the response is they need to send in their Form 7. So just keep a watch out for those and help follow up with those. Outgoing emails, if you need to send an email to the DG, if you can copy me in on it, please, as I will be doing the admin work for maintaining any correspondence. As I mentioned, the district calendar is there, and if you have any events, particularly events you want other people from other clubs to come to, if you're running an international women's breakfast, for example, or you've got a golf day, please get those dates to me and information to me and I can get it into the club calendar. I would also recommend you check the club calendar to make sure there's not another major district event being scheduled for the same day, because if you can avoid conflicts, then you'll probably have both events be more successful. The district resources, so every area has their own assistant governor. There's the committee chairs for all the areas of service. There's the new training role, there's IT support, there's public image. There's a great deal of district resources available. So if you need help in one particular area, please just contact us and we can have them help you. And as I mentioned, a bit of club administration, the annual return to CAV, the Rotary Club Central goals, you check with your president who's going to enter those, because the presidents may be doing it, but just check and find out there. And Tim, as mentioned in the earlier session, has done a great deal of work around updating the Constitution and Bylaws. So if you've not looked at your Constitution in your club for potentially since the club was chartered, now's the time to do it. The new Constitution and bylaws that have been put out correlate with everything that's needed for Rotary International as well as Consumer Affairs Victoria. So it is a great resource for you to just implement them in your club if you need to update your Constitution. Now, I think that was all I wanted to say. So it's just if anyone has any questions. So I will stop sharing my screen and go back to the session. And that was a little bit faster than I thought. I probably got a bit excited and spoke a bit fast there. So I hope everyone heard it all right. Does anyone have any questions, comments, things they want to flag? No, you will need to unmute yourself.
Can I just ask, can we get a copy of that talk you did?
You certainly can. I believe it's been recorded, so it will be available, and I can also just give you the slides with some extra notes I have if anyone wants that as well.
Thanks.
I wanted to contribute that I found out how to get those Constitution on the Consumer Affairs site. After stuffing around, I asked them all about it. Eventually found on the front page is a little dot down the bottom left called Site Map. And I clicked on that. One of the many things you can do is submit change of rules here. So there you are.
So if anyone is going to be doing that, that's a little hint for the Consumer Affairs. Philippa, I saw your hand go up first. So if
Thank you.
Have a question.
In the last session, there was a little short discussion about Club Runner and My Rotary.
Yep.
And the people who seemed to know what they were talking about preferred My Rotary. I don't know anything about Club Runner, really. I've never had anything to do with it.
So Club Runner is the district site. It is all our communication at a local level, and it's how we manage membership, emails, all that sort of things for the district. Now, I believe every club has synchronised yep, Jane's nodding, every club has synchronised their data. So when you change a member on Club Runner, it may take a day or two, but that filters up to My Rotary. So then the information is correct on both websites. You only have to enter it once and change it once. Whereas if you change it on My Rotary, it does not filter down. So just use Club Runner as the member list and resource list.
Thank you.
It is probably worth after a couple of days logging on and just making sure the change has gone through, but I have never had a problem. It's always gone through. Sam McCurdy, question.
Yes, I think it was Raymond said he had already lodged the new Constitution through Consumer Affairs Victoria.
Yes.
And my question is, on looking at their site, it would appear that if you change your Constitution or rules, you're up for a cost of $185.10. Is that so?
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent. Okay, everyone should be aware of that.
There was a few years ago, they were trying to encourage people to update their rules, so they had a free I think it was about when they updated the model rules, they had about 3 months where you could lodge them for free. But other than that, it's always been you have to pay whenever you change your rules. You don't have to pay when you change the secretary. So whoever's this year's secretary, when that changes to you, there's no charge for that. Any other questions? Yes, Alistair. Are you waving or are you moving your no, I think you're just cleaning your screen.
Right. I've had a few messages from Club Runner, support the Club Runner. There's a duplicate email found in RI. Found more than one email address associated with this member under the same email type. Click here to stop notifications about the issue and mark it as resolved. How do I deal with that?
So is it saying that a member has more than one email, or is it saying that more than one member is logged under the same email?
One email address associated with one member. More than one email, sorry. More than one email.
So as far as I was aware, you could have different emails. So you could, for example, have a generic role email for Club Runner and have your own personal email for my Rotary. So I'm not 100% sure about that. That might be something I might have to... Jane, do you know about that?
You have one unique identifier email. So you can't have one, you can't have two. And that's been the issue with why all my emails come to me as District Secretary, because it will no longer go to Jane at CINet.
Yep.
So there's probably an issue there, Sandy. You need to be sure that the primary email is the email that the person wants to use and that it's registered the same put it in Club Runner at district level, and it will feed up to Rotary International. If you're having a problem, just get in touch with them. There's a Club Runner support a button on the district website, and you can ask the Club Runner people. They're very responsive and they'll help you sort that out.
Okay, well, the particular member has only one email, so yeah.
You'll need to get in touch with them to sort it out. Their support's very good. Yeah,
okay,
so if it's right at this level, you'll need to check with them to see why it's not.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yes, Colin.
Just as a comment, in our club, what we've done is we've made the rules secretary somebody that's a long-serving member of the club, and it doesn't change every year with the secretary. So then you don't have to change that name with corporate affairs every year. Just a thought, if other clubs would like to maybe take that up, it makes the changeover a lot easier.
Yeah, there are some clubs who have done that, who have made the secretary, because Consumer Affairs says that that is the title and you can't really change it, but within the club they've made that position the rules secretary, and what we call the secretary, who does all the secretary jobs, is the minutes secretary or the executive secretary or something. Yes, you can do that, but most clubs do just change the role each year, but that there are a couple I've heard who have done that. Any other questions? I will let you know a couple of other things that I just had in the back of my mind. So we're trying very hard this year. I know it's been something Jane and Adrian have been working on, but Mark is hoping to push it a little bit further, to really focus on using the district role emails. So for example, as I said, as of the 1st of July, I take over the secretary at rotary9820.org.au. All the AGs will be getting the same, a generic email. So it would maybe Central Gippsland AG at Rotary. There will be a community at Rotary, there'll be a finance at Rotary, a training at Rotary. So whoever takes on the role continues using the same email that the person in the role before did that. Now, this is something that has been in the pipeline a while, because obviously, if I use my generic carolcrewe@gmail, then any emails that I get and send, I'm the only person who has a record of them. Whereas if we use role emails, then the email records stay with the position and they don't go to the person. Now that is something we've done in our club a few years ago. I think, Ray, we did it about 5 or 6 years ago. We have a Hazelwood secretary@gmail email, so the secretary uses that role. But just be aware, if you're sending out emails or getting emails, then they're likely to go to or come from those role emails.
Carol, can I just comment on emails?
Yep.
There's a lot of people that try to reply to an email that comes out of Club Runner. You can't just hit reply to reply to the secretary. It won't go back to the secretary. You actually have to type in the secretarial email address to send it. You can't just hit reply.
Yep. Yes, that's right. So yeah, if you've got an email that's come out through Club Runner, you can't reply to it. The system doesn't take emails back. How are people going with Zoom? Is everyone, I mean, I've had to say a few people say they've logged on for the first time today. Are many clubs meeting through Zoom? Is it been a resource? Yep, a few hands coming up, finding it good. The District Assembly today has been, I think, a fantastic example of how Zoom can be used at district level. We've been meeting in my club through Zoom as well, and there's a lot of clubs out there doing. But if you're not familiar with it, there is help available for getting up to speed. I mean, we will talk you through individual meetings and that, but I think as District Secretary, it's a great opportunity now to perhaps have some of your executive meetings happen via Zoom, so that if people are not having to travel long distances, they can do it. It means that you can, if you want to, record the meeting, so you can, if you have to go back for minutes or things, you've got that option there. And also it means that you can register people, and you can keep a record of who attended the meeting and all those sorts of things if you want to. Yes, Sam. Sorry, Sam, you're muted. You'll need to unmute before you ask the question.
Right, I'm in business. Yeah, given the changes that the Premier announced yesterday, of course, it now has flow-on effect to upcoming changeovers. And I'm just interested how the district changeover is going to be handled. Is that going to be totally Zoom remote type communication?
So for those who don't know, the district changeover was moved to next Sunday, when we were hoping the restrictions were going to be eased for 50 people. And there was a Pakenham venue where 50 people had been lucky to have an invite for the lunch, and the official portion was going to be Zoomed for everyone else in the district. Obviously, yesterday afternoon, the Premier announced that they're not increasing the numbers to 50, it's staying at 20. So last night, a couple of people spent a great deal of effort reworking it. They have dropped the invite list for the in-person portion of the changeover back to 20. So Adrian and Wendy and Mark and Linda and 16 other key people from the district will still be going to that venue, and then that will be zoomed out from the venue where they can do the official handover of the bits and pieces that would normally happen in front of 100, 150 people. So yeah, the numbers are now down to 20 for that that venue, and hopefully everyone will log in and see the changeover on Zoom like you've done this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, Patty.
Yep.
How important is reporting attendance, and who does it go to?
I don't believe district takes attendance figures anymore, Jane. were you getting attendance figures?
No, there's been absolutely no requirement for attendance to come to district. I think that once again, you find it in the package in my Rotary of club attendance.
Yep.
And attendance is now counted not as attendance at meetings. You need to sort of take an average of what your attendance is across all of your projects and your
Yep.
Participation outside of meetings. People believe that there's still no attendance requirement. There is actually a nominal 50%. It's only to just be sure that people are being engaged. So it's very much up to the clubs how they want to monitor their attendance. But the design of it is not to say you can't be a member of Rotary anymore because your attendance is not where it should be. The design of it now is to be able to measure how engaged Rotarians are and whether we've got a retention issue. So it's an autonomous club decision, really.
Thank you.
There you go, Patty. If you record them, then it's just for your information and to provide the management tool for your club. Adrian,
Carol,
did you have your... Sorry.
They do like it reported into my Rotary so that...
Oh, okay. So my Rotary, there you go. Patty,
yeah,
my Rotary.
There's an area there for monitoring your attendance also.
Okay, but it doesn't, no reports no longer come to district.
No.
Okay, so it goes through my Rotary.
They like you to do it, they encourage you to do it, but I don't know how many people are actually doing it.
Okay. So do you have a log on for my Rotary, Patty?
Certainly do.
There you go. So if you go in there and find the area, I'm sure you'll be able to enter that.
Yes, Carol.
Yes, Adrian.
In my Rotary's Secretary Basics, it refers to a management system that the clubs can use. Is that what Club Runner is?
Yes, essentially.
So does a club need to subscribe to that, or?
No, you can if you want to, and there are some, I couldn't tell you how many, but I know there are some clubs in the district who do it, and if then they integrate it up through the 2 tiers, then they only need to enter information at their club level. It gets fed up to district and then gets fed up to Rotary International. But a lot of clubs just use their own emails and things and keep an ad hoc sort of system, but the district's management tool is Club Runner. But there is a cost associated with it, so you need to work out at your club level whether the cost is worth it for your club.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
Yep.
Carol, Grant Ellis has had his hand up prior to Adrian.
Oh, sorry, Grant. I'm terribly sorry, Grant. The problem is I normally wear glasses. You'll note I normally have glasses on, and I can't wear them with the computer, so you're all slightly fuzzy. So, Grant, please, your question.
That's okay. Just quickly going back to the attendance requirements.
Yep.
Somehow or other, with our Zoom-oriented e-club, our meetings are normally held on Saturday morning.
Yep.
That's not when we have our Zoom meetings. And RI, and I don't know how this happened, but it was set up when the club was first formed. If we log on to or look at our website to get the latest information, then we click a little button on our Facebook page and it sends some sort of a link to RI saying that we have attended the meeting as a registered attendance.
Okay.
Through our webpage. Great idea. I can see Jane laughing about that. Except I don't have a Facebook page. So as far as RI is concerned, I've never, as president in this year, I've never actually attended one of the meetings, even though I've been to every Zoom meeting, even attended Zoom meetings, which are our fortnightly meetings, even from Cambodia and Vietnam. So go figure. Nobody in RI has ever emailed me and said, hey, you've never been to a meeting in your club. How does that happen?
So can you manually enter your attendance?
No, it's all to do with clicking that little Facebook button.
Oh, I would have thought you would have been able to log in at My Rotary and manually enter that you've attended the meeting.
I probably could, but why would I bother? You know, I spend every Monday night online in a Zoom meeting, and that's where we do all our business. not looking at a website on a Saturday morning.
Okay. Well, as long as it's not causing any problems, then, and you're not fussed
so
about
far,
it.
but it might as a secretary, I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
People keep on telling me there's no Rotary police. There's no Rotary. No one's going to come in and break down the door and say, why haven't you attended those meetings?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Oh, yes, Colin.
Yes, Carol, what's the time for next Sunday's handover Zoom?
I thought it was 12:30.
Carol, I think it said 12:15 just to make sure you're there for the start at 12:30.
Yep. I've just had my assistant, my husband, look at the actual invitation, and he is saying yes, this bill is right. 12:15 is the Zoom component, but I believe a link will be. It hasn't been sent out yet, as far as I've seen. I believe a link will be coming out. They'll be available. Yep.
Thanks, Carol.
Yep. Helen, are you waving at us? No, I don't think she is.
She's muted.
Helen?
No, I'm not. I got a link last night and
it
says 12 o'clock.
Okay. The link came out last night. I haven't seen that.
I registered last night and it's come back. I've got an answer back and there's a link and it says 12 o'clock.
Okay. So did anyone else see that email? I haven't seen it.
No.
No? Okay, well, Helen, I can't see people's faces. I have no completely cannot read that. Sorry. Yes, I need to get clearly my prescription changed so I can wear my glasses at the computer. Any other questions, comments? No? Well, I think we've gone through most of the points I had to make. So unless anyone else has anything. Yes, Bob.
I've got a more a general question.
Yep.
Whether it's for the treasurer or not, but we've got a couple of members who are doing it a bit tough at the moment, and there was an email that came out about a week ago or last week saying be careful, keep in touch with your members and monitor them, whatever. And we're not charging them the annual fee. Is there any way we can get any support for that cost impost on the club making that decision? No.
Not Jane's shaking her head. I had a vague memory that Rotary International may consider, if you contacted them with a hardship case, the Rotary International portion of the fees could be waived in exceptional circumstances, but not for the insurance or district component, as far as I'm aware. And I know from talking to John Cartledge, who's the incoming treasurer, and Mark, they have cut the district fees back as hard as they can to really try and support clubs and members. And there's been some very generous negotiations. For example, Adrian this year had a conference levy, and obviously his conference didn't go ahead, so that's been passed on to Mark's year so that Mark doesn't have to charge a conference levy. So district has done a lot of things to try and keep the club fees as small as they can, but there are just costs that they do have to pass on to clubs. But yeah, have a look at I'm not sure whether I got an email about that or someone just told me, but
Carol, I've been flicking from meeting to meeting, so I was in the district treasurer's meeting before, and they said that they will consider any hardship if you write to the district treasurer, and they don't know what their budget for that will be at this stage, but they will consider any application that they receive.
Oh, so that's district level as well?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. There you go, Bob. That hopefully answers your question.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other? I can't see any more hands waving. No? Well, if everyone's happy then, I know they'd allowed up to 2 hours for this meeting, but I don't want to keep you all around on a Sunday afternoon when the sun has finally started to come out here. So thank you very much for logging in. Thank you for those who did the prerequisite learning.
I can say that Mark has already closed down the President-elect one, so
so we've gone longer than the President-elect one. Well, that's fair because secretaries are more important than the President-elects. Yeah. Don't tell them I said that.
In District Governor.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, please do log on and do that training if you haven't done it, and contact me if you need any help, and I will try and answer. And if not, I will be getting back to Jane. I am sure she will be a wealth of knowledge for me this year. So thank you very much. I will end the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.